you know what? You do kind of suck. You're horrible at this. You should probably quit. Everyone else is looking at you and making fun of you. And you know what? I think you're pretty worthless on this team. Hi, I'm Georgia Dow, and I'm a licensed psychotherapist. Today, we're going to be dealing with negativity. This is one of those great mind killers. Really bad for ourselves, really bad for our self-esteem, for our feelings of ourself and safety and capabilities, and for the world around us. It's one of those things you may not even be aware of. So the question I'm going to ask you is, how abusive are you really to yourself? And would you say the things that you say inside your head when you make a mistake to others when they make a mistake? And if you wouldn't, well then, why do you do it to yourself? Sometimes we are our own abusive bedfellows, and we may need to evict that part of our brain. So let's get into a little bit of what's happening and why, and see how we fix it. So remember, we have brains that haven't evolved in 150,000 years. And something that happens that's prevalent to humans probably was beneficial for us at one day and point. So think about people that are more prone to anxiety. They're caring, they're hard on themselves, they are achievement-oriented, expect a lot. This personality type has a greater propensity to being really hard and critical and difficult with themselves. So how could have this been beneficial? Well, think about being in that village and knowing that you're probably pretty good at things, knowing that you're the movers and shakers of the world. You might have thought, you know what, I can probably take on both tigers. Or, you know what, in the middle of this snowstorm, maybe I should go out and gather food, or fix the hut, or jump over this ravine. That negative voice was there to kind of temper that personality type, to say, maybe you shouldn't, maybe you're not as fast or as strong, and perhaps we should wait. In a very dangerous situation, it is a good idea to have a counterpoint voice that says, perhaps you're not as strong or brave or smart or talented as you think you are. Unfortunately, we've gotten rid of most dangers that we have in the world these days, and so we end up with this negative voice that's just there, taunting, mocking, demeaning, being hard on, insulting us. That's really detrimental to our own feeling of self. So I'll ask you, would you actually say the things that you say to yourself when you make a mistake or things don't go your way to someone else? Really, would you? And if you won't, should you be doing it to yourself either? So let's go through a little scenario. Let's pretend that you are coaching a league of baseball, and there's a child, they go up to bat, and they miss. They just keep on missing. And everyone else did really well. And they come up to you and there's tears streaming down their face and they're crying and they're just so very desolate. Would you say to them, you know, when they say, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't do this and I'm horrible, would you look up to this little child and say, you know what? You do kind of suck. You're horrible at this. You should probably quit. Everyone else is looking at you and making fun of you. And you know what? I think you're pretty worthless on this team. Now, that felt bad for me just to say this scenario. And if you would never do that, why wouldn't you do that? Yeah, because it would be cruel. It would destroy them. Would they ever want to play again? Probably not. Would they ever trust to come up to you when they need help? No, they wouldn't. Would they ever want to come back to try anything else? Again, they may not. You might have been, and we all care. Like, I remember every single time that someone was mean to me, that a teacher said something cruel, my own negative self-talk, it sticks with me. We carry this wounded child around with us for the rest of our lives like a backpack unless we work on it. And that's the voice that I hear in my head when I make an error in the way that I speak, or if I write something down wrong. We need to really work on that. It destroys your feeling of self and self-esteem and your ability to try things that are new or that are difficult. And we need to fix that. Remember, we only need to be kind to ourselves when we screw up, when we make a mistake. A fighter that's in the ring, a good coach will just say, keep on doing the right thing when they're winning. We don't need to be nice to ourselves when everything is going our way. We're already doing the right thing. It's only when the chips are down that it makes a difference. It's only when times are tough, when we need that, you know what, you can do it. Pick up the pieces, gather on. I believe in you. It's okay. We'll work on this. And I'm not even saying being positive. I'm not being like, oh, go around the world in rose-colored glasses. No, I'm saying being honest. You know what? It's tough. I'm not good at this, but I'm going to keep on working. I have a problem with this. Or, you know what? Everyone makes mistakes. There is no perfect because there is no perfect. And so this is what we need to do and to be to ourselves. I'll give you another scenario of how is this linked to, like, it makes sense how this is linked to self-esteem, right? Like, you're constantly advertising who you are to yourself. Anything that you say enough times to yourself, you're going to believe, even if it's completely untrue. That's why advertising is so effective in a billion-dollar industry. That if we hear that Coca-Cola is better than no-name cola enough times, we will 100% believe that. And that's why you need to question this negative self-talk and be aware of if you're doing it to yourself or not. We often get caught in the I'm just being realistic. But you know, if you're bothering yourself about, say, the color of your hair or how tall you are, and it's inaccurate, how are you really gonna fix that? Because you're gonna be chasing the wrong thing. If it's true, well, and you wanna fix it, then fix it. But remember that you're advertising yourself, and that has a direct relation to our feelings of capacity and if we're going to be able to handle a scenario. Because if we're able to handle a scenario and we fully believe it, why will our brain need to send us adrenaline to be able to survive it? It won't. But if we say we're weak, we're incapable, we're, don't have the skills to be able to handle this, but we actually do, now we're causing our brain to send us adrenaline, be anxious, even though it doesn't have to. So our self-talk is directly related to our levels of anxiety. And if you're not sure, listen to this next scenario. So let's put ourselves in a dark alley, and you're all alone, and it's the middle of the night, and you see 4 thugs coming towards you. How do you feel? Probably scared. Probably worried, probably checking out your scenario, and your adrenaline system is probably getting ready to prepare you for action, which it should be. And that's normal. Now, let's just change one variable of this situation. Let's put yourself in that dark alley. 4 thugs are coming towards you, but in this case, you are a bona fide superhero, like Superman or Wonder Woman or Rogue. You choose the one that you like. You really are them. Now, how do you feel in this scenario? Like, I'd be excited. I'd be like, wow, I finally get to use my powers. This is going to be fun. How often do I get to encounter thugs? This is going to be great because I'm Wonder Woman. The only difference in these 2 scenarios is your belief in your capacity to be able to handle this. How am I going to be able to deal with this? And my levels of adrenaline, anxiety, are vastly different between these 2 scenarios. So that's where our negative voice comes in. If you're believing that you're weak, if you're believing that you're incapable, if you're believing people hate you, you're not going to be able to do this, you are sending your adrenaline system into overdrive, and it doesn't have to be that way. So you're going to check it, you're going to find out, and then together, we're going to work on how to fix it. So that was negativity and why we should work on it. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. And if you did, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll join you for the next set of videos.